Can you see me? Please let me know if you can see me and hear me. Tell me down in the chat. Hello, Kim. Hello, Anna. Hi, Shirley, Kathy, Kaya, Carol, Deborah, Marcella. Hello, hello. Hi, Kim. Hi, Tina, Mary. Just trying to get it where I can see the chat and the video at the same time. I'm just going to shut this door. Not that anybody's going to bother us, but it just, I could hear the washing machine back there. Hello, everyone. Tracy, Cynthia, Linda, Pauline, Krista. Hi, Mary. Tell us where you're watching from. It looks like we've got people from Australia and New Zealand, all over the United States, Mississippi, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Welcome. We've got some weird light coming in here, but we've got sunshine, so we're not going to complain about it. All right. How is everyone doing today? Canada, North Carolina. Thank you for joining me live. I just feel like it's been a while since I have been able to just kind of come on and chat with you guys, so I figured it was time. Germany, West Virginia. Wow, okay, we've got lots of friends here today. If you can't hear me very well, I'm sorry, there's no way for me to put in any sort of other input. I tried for like over an hour this afternoon, so sometimes it helps if you get out and come back in. And then otherwise, I will just try my best to talk loudly. Luna is sleeping on my desk here. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably have seen that I moved her bed into my office, and she pretty much hangs out with me all day up here now. I'll see if we can get her. She's asleep right now, but I'll get her to say hello before this live is over. Okay, I'm going to get started. If you have questions, I will do the best to see them in the comments, but I also have a list of questions here that came in through our email list. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, Star, I'm so sorry your parents hit a deer and then hit another deer. Oh my goodness. Somebody asked how much snow we've gotten. We got about 1 inch, but Mark took the kids out in the snow and like took them around in a sled on the four-wheeler, and it compacted it all down. And we don't get much sunlight in our yard at this point in the year. So it's all still here. The roads are clear. Everywhere else around town is completely clear except for up on the mountains, but we have gotten about 1 inch of snow here in town. All right. Just seeing where everybody's saying hello from. Thank you for being here. What time is it here? It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I realize Alaska's usually like so far behind. When I come on in the mornings on like Instagram or things and say good morning, I figure I'm starting to realize everybody's already like into their afternoons by the time I'm saying good morning. Oh, good, Star. I'm glad they're okay. Cars can be replaced. It's a big headache to replace them, but I'm grateful that they're okay. Anita, I cannot put on subtitles until afterwards because it has to have time to make those subtitles. I'm so sorry. You could hopefully come back and watch the replay. Nice to see all of you. Okay, I am going to just start asking answering questions, but if you do have any other questions, please put them in the run and turn the camera off in 30 minutes. Oh, I know what that's all about. Yep. Okay, first question. How do Mark and I find time to be together? This is from Anna Hoover. We fit in times just in the little margins. We have family dinner together. I stopped by his office yesterday and had lunch with him because I was in town for just a routine doctor's appointment. So I called him up and said, hey, can I come meet you for lunch? We try and go on actual dates, but I could not tell you the last time we went on like an official date because it was hunting season and things just get really busy during hunting season. I haven't really put much out there, but we did end up getting a moose, but it took Mark and Hunter 5 weekends away to get the moose. And so I don't put that stuff out, obviously. If you watched the Apple video and were wondering like, where was Mark when all this was going on? He was moose hunting, but I don't like, coming out and saying, oh, we're home alone. My videos come out a week to 2 weeks after I film them for safety purposes. I don't want everybody on the internet to know when I'm home alone or when people are around. So anyways, I try not to draw attention to those kind of things anyways, and we just do our best to just share. Somebody asked a question. It's not 3 o'clock our time. It's 2 o'clock right now. And the boys have buses. So even if I go over on this, they will come busting in that door. We only have buses for 3 weeks. We're almost done with having buses, but it has been so nice to have a couple of weeks where I didn't have to drive everybody around. So, Christine, watching from, okay. Shout out for George and Christine. Yes, hello. 11 a.m. Saturday in New Zealand. See, we're just like, I'm like still in Friday mode, and those of you over in Australia and New Zealand are in Saturday mode. So different. Thank you for the congratulations. We did reach 20,000 subscribers this week, and that just like blows my mind. I'm so grateful for the support. Like, if people weren't watching, I don't think that I would be motivated to just keep grinding away at putting out new videos and pulling the camera out. Deborah, thank you for supporting Mark's channel. Here's a plug for Mark's channel. It's called Alaska Boys, and there will be a new video tomorrow. And he did film Hunter's Moose Hunt. Oh, Alaska Boys. I typed in Alaska. I will get to the moose hunt eventually, but a new video will be coming out tomorrow for the Alaska Boys. I finally got around to editing his video since I was skipping today's video. I will have a Costco video for you on Sunday though. How are we doing? Lillian, you asked. We are doing great. It's busy season, finishing up hunting season, getting the freezer stocked. Kids are getting in the groove of school. It's actually the last week of the first quarter here next week, and I have to go to parent-teacher conferences, so feels like that first quarter just blew by. All right, next question was, how rough has winter gotten? We're pretty lucky here in South Central Alaska. We live very near the ocean, and it kind of keeps it from getting too cold and getting too much snow. Anna, this was your question. Hi, Anna. It keeps us from getting too much snow. So we sometimes hit -10 degrees Fahrenheit, -20 on a really bad day for like a week. But usually we sit around 10 to 20 degrees in the wintertime. So it's not too bad. We have had a ton of snow the last couple years, which is fine with us. We love to cross-country ski. We love to go out and do things in the snow. It has made it really difficult on moose. People had a really hard time moose hunting this year. I think there were a lot of casualties from the deep, deep snow. Hello, Nadia. Hello, Carol. Pheasant season in South Dakota. Does our family like pheasant? I don't know. We don't have pheasants in Alaska. We love ducks. We love ptarmigan. We love spruce hens. But yeah. All right. Will I be making merchandise? Pauline asked. We do have a merch store. Oh, thank you so much for that super chat, Krista. I really appreciate that. That's very sweet of you for supporting our channel. So we do have merchandise. It's in the description of every video. So if you click on like the title of the video, whatever it says, there will be, there's a merch shop down below, and it's just like they print it and send it right to you. We're not big enough to be able to print our own stuff at this point. So you can order sweatshirts and things like that. Are we ever going to cook duck? Marcella asked. We cooked one last week. The boys came home from a Saturday afternoon walk with a duck, and we cooked it on Sunday. But I don't know. Mark thought about going duck hunting tomorrow. If we get any more ducks this season, I'm not sure how many ducks are still around now that we got the snow. But if it sticks around, we will be sure to show that. Oh, thank you, Pilot Pete, for that super chat. We really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, next question we got, and if you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. These are just ones that came in through our email, and if you are not on our email list yet, I try and send out emails every single Monday. I've actually sent out them for about the last 20 weeks, which for me is like a big deal. I've gotten on a good schedule, so I share behind the scenes. I ask for feedback. I'm going to have some big announcements coming. I am going to put this, I just put a link in there, and if that's where you sign up for the email list. If you click that, it just asks for your name and your email. And if you're not getting them and you think you signed up, you can email me, or you need to check in your spam folders and like tell it that we want emails from us. Where do you find info about our Airbnb? Just send me an email at ThisAlaskaLifeFamily@gmail.com, and I can give you information. It is only open in the winter and a little bit into the spring. We do not have it open in the summertime, so that's not an option for that. Okay. Next question. Tracy asked, have I ever considered learning how to fly? No. I have considered that. I don't want to. I just, it's not my thing. It's just in Mark's blood to fly a small airplane. And I probably should learn how to take off and land just for safety purposes. But at this point in my life, I am in the airplane so little. I go maybe on a flight 3 or 4 times a year, just because I usually have to stay home with kids, or I have to drive to wherever he's going. So I just don't really want to learn how to fly. Hi, Mary Lynn from Winnipeg. My dad is from Winnipeg, born and raised. Oh, thank you to those of you that are saying that you get the emails. Buenos noches, Ana. Okay. Thank you for those of you that are on the email list. Yes, there is a lot of stuff coming up on the email list, so you might want to get on there. I'll put the link here in the chat one more time. That's how you sign up. Okay. If you could fly anywhere, where would you go? I'm guessing she means like not flying my own plane, but like going on an airplane. Now that all the kids are getting bigger, like I finally feel like that little twinge to start traveling more. And I would love to go somewhere warm. I'd love to go down to the Caribbean. I would love to go to Europe and travel through Spain and Greece. And I would love to go visit Australia. There's just so many things that I would love to do. But we'll see as the kids are getting older if that's something that we can do more often. Okay, Patricia asked, how do you keep yourself grounded with all the things that I'm doing? I would just say having good habits. I am always trying to develop new habits that are good, Hi, Lori. Welcome. And some of those habits are fitting in time to exercise. I wasn't getting time to exercise. I was coming home and editing, and all of a sudden I would look up and the boys would be home. And so I've started getting up really early in the mornings to exercise because I like to move my body. It just means that I just have a better day. I do journaling. That has really helped me stay grounded. I'm trying to read my scriptures every morning myself and connecting with the Bible and the other scriptures that I read. And then we also do family scripture study every morning before the boys go to school and prayer. And I feel like those kind of things are helping me stay grounded, remember what's the most important, and not just fall into a pit of like work or just getting off balance. So exercise, spirituality, time with the family, time with Mark. We spend a lot of time talking early in the morning and then late at night before we go to bed. So Laura asked, I've been loving your recipe videos. Will you be doing something like that throughout the upcoming holidays? It is on my list of things to do to film more cooking videos. I just have not gotten back into the groove of that. If you want to see more recipes and what I'm cooking, I have tried to be putting every day what I'm cooking on Instagram. If you're an Instagram person, go find us, This Alaska Life. And every day I've been making a little short reels showing what we had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I know it's not a full recipe, but it could be helpful to kind of see what we're eating. You know, if we're having moose roast or we're having hamburger, you know, I'm just sharing everything over there. Okay. Are you used to the empty house now that Everett's in school? Good question, Susan. Okay, so in my mind, I had this expectation. When Everett was home or the boys were home, I was able to get done A, B, C, D. Somehow I got done like all these things. In my mind, once all the kids were in school, I was going to get done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, you know, like this much stuff. But I'm really able to get like this much done. So I'm having to adjust my expectations. Does that make sense? Like I thought I would be able to I used to be able to get this done. I thought I was going to be able to get this done. And now I'm like finding this middle ground of what I'm able to get done. Like if I have to go into Anchorage for the day, like yesterday I went into Anchorage, I got nothing else done. I went in for a doctor's appointment. I had lunch with Mark. Okay, I did go Costco shopping. So I did get something done, but that was my entire day. So, hi, Miss Violet Vlogs. I'm glad you got back home safely. We had lunch together this week. That was super fun. What's my favorite way to eat moose? Hamburgers. Mark makes the best moose hamburgers. Moose doesn't have enough fat in it to hold together. So a couple years ago, he used to use egg and breadcrumbs and things. But a couple years ago, he started using coconut oil to put them together, just a tiny bit, enough to keep it together. And they're like the best burgers ever. So that's probably one of my favorite ways, but honestly, it's so good in a lot of things. Oh, Mandy asked if I would put together a This Alaska Life recipe book. Not very likely, but I do have a website that I have started. The problem is I used to have a website for my home decorating business, and I was really good at knowing how to do everything and move everything around. And I am so out of practice. Every time I open up my website to try and make it, I get really overwhelmed. I want it to have recipes. I want it to have tips on moving to Alaska and tips on visiting Alaska, but it's just not come together yet. So best way to eat moose is with a fork. Yes. That's always a hard question because like when people ask me, what does moose taste like? I'm like, it tastes like moose. Because I don't know, it tastes like really lean beef. So, Vera says, hubby and I went on Alaska cruise the end of August, fell in love with Alaska. It's very easy to do. Alaska just captures your heart. It's a very polarizing place to live. A lot of people filter through here with like the military. They either love it and they like beg the military to let them retire here, or they hate it and they cannot wait for their 3-year stint to get over. It's like very few people fall in between. They either love it or hate it. All right. Sarah asked, do we ever eat beef or lamb? Very, very rarely. I will buy like pork sausage every once in a while. I will buy chicken nuggets every once in a while. Hi, Vanessa. I'm glad you could make it. But I do not buy lots of other stuff. But I'll eat all that stuff at a restaurant. It's not that I don't want to eat it, but you got to use what's in your freezer, and that's what's in my freezer. But honestly, I was just talking to Violet Vlogs about this. I would be totally lost at the grocery store on what meat to buy just because I know my meat in my freezer so well. I have roasts, I have steaks, and I have hamburger. We did just make Italian sausage, and we made breakfast sausage out of the moose this time. So, yeah. Okay, I have another question here. Patricia asks about my crafting. Did I do any crafting, or what did I do crafting? So I used to have a craft. So before my decorating business, that store that you guys have seen me shop at, it's called Revive. They take things from vendors. And some of the things that I show you there are things that I used to make. I used to make the stamped books. I used to make the stamped spoons. I would take vintage spoons and stamp them. I made gnomes. I made keychains, Alaska keychains. I did some quilting. But it got to be where I was kind of producing I felt like I was just like a factory, which is fine, but I just was losing. Once I started this channel, I realized I didn't have time for both. And if you saw this week's video where I took my friend Andrea to her, for her birthday, she actually bought the business from me. I just pretty much for like pennies on the dollar sold her all my equipment, and she now does that all for Revive because they didn't want me to stop doing all that stuff. And so she's started her own things, adding her paintings in, and that was always my hope. She is an amazing artist, and I was hoping that it would get her to put some of her paintings out for sale, and she is starting to do that. So someone asked if Mark and the boys hunt bears. We do sometimes hunt bears, but we hunt them in the spring when they haven't been eating stinky fish. Then you can actually eat them. The meat is actually fantastic. It's very sweet. Black bear. Black bear is one of my favorite meats, actually. If I had to rank them, it would be moose meat, bear, deer, Sitka black-tailed deer. Caribou is way down here. I'm not a huge fan of caribou. It can be excellent, but too often I've had really gamey caribou that it's just not my favorite. But that's okay. We got plenty of other options. Denise asked, how are the boys adjusting to school? They're doing well. It's a lot. Everett comes home. He's not tired. He's like full of energy, but it's almost like the reverse. He's like so full of energy because he's had to sit still for so long, and then he's supposed to do homework, and that is really, really hard because he's had to sit still and do worksheets all day, and then try and come back and do worksheets at home is not the easiest. So they're doing well though. I would say he's so happy when he comes home to be with mom again or dad. He follows us around and doesn't want to leave our side, which makes me a little bit sad because it just shows how much he misses us. The minute the garage door goes up, he goes from being at my side down to being at Mark's side. And if I'm busy, then sometimes he starts to act up because he just wants, he just needs that attention. So I have to readjust my brain okay, Everett needs attention now. The other boys are doing great in school. they're all working really hard and just they're doing well. When is the best time to visit Alaska if you want to snowboard for fun? I would say March is really fun snowboarding because then the days are longer and it's really sunny. It can be really sunny. They have you can come anytime from December through March for snowboarding. There's not a ton of places to go snowboarding, believe it or not, but there are 2 or 3. Unless you just do backcountry, and then you can go wherever up in Turnagain Pass. Kelly asked, are the boys going to do cross-country skiing this year, or do they have hockey? We are not a hockey family. We are a cross-country skiing family. Hockey is a huge year-long commitment, tons of money, tons of hours. We just don't, it's not something we want to do. The boys have done cross-country running. The boys will all be doing cross-country skiing. This will be Everett's first year to do cross-country skiing, and Mark is going to be his coach. When they're at the littlest age, you have to have a parent with you, so Mark will be his coach. Hopefully this year, if I can find some skis, I will get to go skiing with them again. I didn't ski 2 years ago because of my broken ankle, and then last year, Hunter used my skis and destroyed them, not on purpose. They just got destroyed by using them. And Mark just went and got him new skis last week because last year there were the inventory for skis, got put on a list of hundreds of people, and if they didn't have your size, they didn't have your size. And so Mark went early this year, got Hunter some brand new skis, which will then get passed down to everybody else. Skis are expensive, but we've always bought them either secondhand or just tried to get them, but there's just not skis available ever since the pandemic. It's been really hard to get skis. So Hunter has new skis. He's skiing for school. And then the rest of the boys will be doing it with our local ski club. But you can also just go for free anytime you want. That's the great thing about cross-country skiing. We have lots of trails in Anchorage. It's one thing that Alaska does an amazing job of is having trails for recreating, free recreation for biking, skiing, running, all those things. How many hours of daylight are we sitting at? We're sitting probably about, I should look it up, but I think it's about 11 hours right now. It is getting really, really dark. After coming from, not having any dark, it is really, really dark. So is it nighttime there? Okay. What type of restaurant food do you wish there was, but it's not available? I'm not huge into eating out. If we go out to the lower 48, we like to go to Chick-fil-A because they don't have that. But we have Cane's chicken, which it's not the same, but it's similar. We don't eat out a lot, so I don't. It's funny, when we used to not have things like Olive Garden, when we would go, I'd be like, oh, let's go to Olive Garden. Now we have Olive Garden, and I couldn't tell you the last time I went there. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. We're just not in a stage of life where we eat out that often. Martha, oh, thank you. She says, you're a great storyteller. I loved your testimonial video. I love your cooking videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate those of you that watched the video where the Alaska fall footage. I had a lot of fun filming those drone shots. I hope to use them in a future video too, because there's just so many good ones. I really enjoy storytelling. So in that storytelling, I included my testimony on the power of prayer in my life. I want to do seasonal storytelling, but it won't always be religious. It will just be, sometimes it could be religious. Sometimes it will be just a story from my life here and what I learned from it, because I really do love the power of a story. If you guys haven't noticed, when I went to Ketchikan, the story about the grocery store and the story about the Alaska Zoo, if I can find a story, I love to tell the story. I will put my P.O. box here just in case somebody just asked. Oops. thank you to anybody who has sent us stuff, like never expected, but we are so grateful just to be able to connect with you guys through that. It's really been fun. Marcella asked if I've ever thought of writing a book. It's funny you should ask. I don't know. I'm not sure what kind of book you're thinking about, but when I was a teacher, I taught 5th and 6th grade, and I taught while I was pregnant with Hunter. And then I had Hunter, and I had to go back to school for like 10 weeks after he was born. And so we did a unit on tall tales storytelling, and for my students, I wrote a story to show them an example of like, this is a tall tale, a creation myth, of creation of something. And I used the example of a Alaska fireweed, how it was created. And I used Hunter, who was like 6 weeks old. I used him as the character, and it's called Hunter Mountain Hamm. And he is a fisherman and a hunter, and he gets so into his hunting that he gets stuck in the ice. And the next year when he thaws out, he creates the fireweed to help him remember that winter is coming. Anyways, so I have written that. And one day I would love to turn that into an actual book. And I have other ones that I have in my mind and just typed out, ones for the other boys. I think it would be fun to have some picture books of the boys and tall tales of just about Alaska. You know, weaved in with their real life, because Hunter has been a self-fulfilling prophecy for his name. He is quite the hunter and quite the fisherman. So, okay, Natalie asked, hi from Nebraska, wishing to live in Alaska. What brands of winter gear is good in order to get to be there? The wonderful thing is it does matter. The winter gear matters, but the most important thing is that you layer. Like, you can be wearing a Costco coat as long as you have on a fleece, and it could be a Costco fleece and Costco long johns underneath. The name of the game is layering so that you don't get too cold, and if you do get hot, you can take stuff off. So I don't have any brands necessarily that I am like married to. For boots, the boys and I love bog boots. I just love them because you can just pull them on. You don't have to lace them up. We use those 12 months out of the year. But I will also just buy the Costco snow pants for the boys. The name of the game is layers. Wearing a hat, wearing earmuffs, like putting on a scarf, like just layering up so that you're not too cold. And then when you get hot, you can take off a layer and put it back on. So, all right. Can't wait till we decorate for Christmas. Oh, my brain is not there yet. I don't think I'm even going to decorate for fall this year, which I have come to grips with. I'm just okay with that. Have I ever been to Jamaica? Nope. But I would love to go to the Caribbean and go to Jamaica and all that stuff. Okay. Let me see. I have a few more questions here. Oh, Elizabeth asked, did we build our house? And why in the world is the kitchen upstairs? So, it's a very Alaskan thing to have your kitchens upstairs. Every house I've lived in has had its kitchen upstairs in Alaska. And I know that's not normal. Newer houses are now starting to put them downstairs. If you walk in on the ground floor, often it can be downstairs. But I don't know. We actually really love having upstairs because that means if there is any light, we get that light. It makes us feel like we live in a tree house, and all the windows. So we did purchase this house already built. It had 2 bedrooms when we bought it, but it had an apartment, and my parents had said, hey, we want to move in with you guys eventually. If you ever buy a house with an apartment, we would love to downsize. And so when we saw this house, we just went on faith, like, okay, At that point, we only had 2 kids. They could share a room. Let's just get it, because we loved the property. We loved it. And so we moved in. We ended up having 2 more kids here. And then about, I want to say 4 years ago, we did a huge home remodel. We pushed out, when you see our front room, everywhere from the kitchen out to the front, we put a new garage in, and then above the garage is our huge living room. So it's really nice and big open space. We turned our old garage into our playroom / kids homeschool room. Well, we're not homeschooling now, but when we did homeschool, that was where we did it. Now it's just a playroom with a bunch of computers. And then we turned the old playroom into 2 bedrooms and added a bathroom downstairs. So now we have 4 bedrooms plus a big extra storage room. Oh, thank you. Somebody said that we're the best channel I've come across in a long while. That is so kind. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, Carol, you dabble in writing. That's awesome. Where I get stuck is having an illustrator. I may have my friend Andrea try and illustrate it for me, but I'm sure I could find a way to get an illustrator too. Deborah asked, are we planning on having any more kids? To be determined. That door has not been closed, but I'm not sure. I'm on this health journey right now. I would like to be in a healthier place before I thought about getting pregnant. So we'll see. Sometimes Mark and I look at each other and we're like, woo, we are maxed out. This is 4 kids. I didn't know 4 kids would be so much work. And then I have these tuggings on my heart like, oh, is there somebody else waiting to join our family? So we were just talking about this week. I don't know. We're not sure. Natalie asked, what boroughs are tax-free? You'd have to do a search on that. Anchorage is tax-free for, we don't have a sales tax, but if you go north to Palmer and Wasilla, they do. I don't know if anywhere else doesn't have it other than Anchorage, but we do have home tax, like property taxes, which are really, really high. Oh, Luna. Do you guys want to see Luna? She's sleeping, but I will get her. Oh, she looked at me. Oh. Usually she was sitting right here for for the first 2 weeks when the boys were gone. And so I put her bed in here, and she loves sleeping up on my desk now. Okay. Do you do the holiday baking? I do a lot of holiday baking. I just made pumpkin cookies that are fantastic, and I made double the recipe, which I forgot was already a huge recipe. So I made a ton. You gonna go? Oh, back to her bed. We just turned the heat on in our house this week. And Mark turned on the heat here in this room and our bedroom a little bit warmer during the day because I was freezing while I was editing. And so it's actually nice and cozy in here. She loves being next to the she's staring at me now. Let me move a few things and I'll turn and show you her in her bed. Mandy, of course I would love to have a little girl, but I would be happy with a little boy too. You can freeze cookies. Yes, I froze like 48 pumpkin cookies. I'm making banana muffins again today. I've been freezing those and throwing them in the boys' lunches. I love freezing cookies. So we'll get into a baking thing here. I just feel like I kept thinking life would slow down a little bit once the boys were at school. It has not happened yet. Okay, let me turn and you guys can see Luna. I have a lot of water bottles and stuff here, but see, she's laying there in her bed next to the window so she can see out. This is my microphone that I tried to get to work today, and it was not having it. Oh, somebody just said I need Luna merch. Hold on a second. So if you're not on my email list, make sure you get on there. I'm going to put the link here again. But I just ordered these. They came much smaller than I was anticipating. So I got to get through these 500. And then I'll order some in a little bit bigger size. But how cute is this? It's a little Luna sticker. If you're on my email list, you might be up for getting some of these here soon. And I also ordered these This Alaska Life ones. They're pretty small. Like this is like maybe 1.5 inches, but they're really good quality, like to go on a water bottle and not wash off. So, but the boys were so excited about the Luna stickers. They like took them to school and then all their friends wanted Luna stickers. Oh, that's so sweet. You have your mom's cat. Little remembrance of your mom with you, huh? Yep, so here's the little Luna sticker. Like I said, it came in really small. It's like maybe 1.5 inches tall, but, and then down here it has a little heart and it says, Love Luna with a little paw print. Bumper stickers. Hi, Mary. Hello, MD from Oklahoma. Okay. Mary asked if we have taken the train. The train is on my bucket list of things that I want to do. I would love to take you guys along on the train one day. There's the train up north to Fairbanks. You could take the train south down to Seward. But I have not done that. Okay. Marley asked, that she said that she sees our kids playing in the yard a lot, and are there dangers of bears? There is always the potential for a bear to come because they're wild and we don't have any fences. But in the time that we've lived here, I'm trying to think how many times. So I saw a bear once, but it was like getting dark. I heard something out our window and happened to look out, and a bear, and that's when we had chickens, and it was like pushing on the chicken coop. Didn't get in. And then one tried to get our beehives. We didn't do bees this year, but it tried to push the beehive over and kind of took a swipe at it. Mark has them ratcheted down, so it didn't get it. But he was, those bees were angry. Mark has never gotten stung so many times. So there's always the danger of bears. We've just taught the kids that, like, hey, make noise, don't run, walk backwards. And we've never seen one during the daylight hours. I feel like, from experience, the bears make their rounds at night when it's dark. Well, actually, it doesn't get dark, but they make their rounds at night. One knocked over our trash one year. So I choose not to live in fear. We see moose in our yard a lot more than we see bears. Oh, thank you so much, Vera, for that super chat. That was very sweet of you. So I just try and teach the kids the right thing to do if there is a bear, and then we just have to live our lives. As they get older, I would make them, if they go adventuring more often, I would make them have bear spray. But at this point in our lives, Everett is still too curious about things like that, and so is probably Weston, because bear spray can be really bad. That's just like a big can of pepper spray. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's called bear spray, and you can spray it at a bear, and they say it's as effective as a gun, or more effective, because you end up not injuring somebody with a gun. So, but if they end up spraying themselves, that could be really bad. Do the bears sleep in the winter? Yes, they hibernate. So from end of October till May, we don't have to worry about it at all. But moose are a different story. We've got this. If you follow us on Instagram, if you don't, you should. If you are on Instagram, that's a fun way to be able to connect, because I can post there daily tell you what the weather's like. You can see Luna every day. I try and show her at least once a day. So that would be a good reason. If you want to see more of us, go over to Instagram. I also am sharing what we eat most days. Anyways, what was I saying about that? Oh, on Instagram, I've been showing we have this mom and a baby moose that have been hanging out in our yard. And they'll come and they'll be here for like 2 days and then they'll take off and come back around. But they're really enjoying eating our raspberries right now because it's like the only thing with leaves left on it. So they're eating the raspberries. Hello, Pauline from Scotland. Oh, Susan, I bet that was a wonderful cruise. Oh, I love that. All the way from Seattle to Seward. That sounds wonderful. Yes, I did have a very nice meet up with Jessica Violet from Violet Vlogs. It was fine. It was nice to finally meet in person, and it's just special when you can talk YouTube with somebody because I have so much going on up here about YouTube. And the art exhibit was amazing. I was a little bit upset with myself on my filming. I moved around way too much, so I just felt like I just had a tiny bit. But there were so many people. Kind of had to wander around to see everything. So I felt like my filming was terrible. I was editing that, and I'm like, oh, I almost didn't even put it out because I was so upset by my by my lack of good filming. MD asked, how did you meet Mark? Mark and I were both home from college in the summer, and we met at church. Actually, we met through a friend. His friend Paul started just chatting with me every once in a while, and I told him I'd go fishing, and then he said, hey, Mark, you should ask this girl out. She likes to go fishing. And so he took me fishing, and then the rest is history. We kept dating, and we actually went to the same college, but Mark is 4.5 years older than I am. And so, like, when I was in middle school, he had just graduated high school. So we're from very close. Like, we were rival high schools. But we never met each other. Actually, I saw him once when I was 14. He and his dad flew in their airplane to a camp that I was at for church and brought us ice cream at the end of this really long hike. And I remember somebody saying, that's Mark Hamm, he's so cute. But he was so much older than me. I was like 14, and I was like, he looks really old. But, you know, once you're in your 20s, it doesn't matter anymore. And so we started dating, went back down to college, and kept dating there, and then got married and moved back to Alaska as soon as possible. My Instagram handle is the same, at ThisAlaskaLife. Will I be doing any more home decor videos? I have started filming a couple as I've been doing my office here and decluttering the house, but I'm nervous because if I start something, I want to keep doing it, and until I have an editor, I've been doing 3 videos a week very consistently for the last couple months, and there's no way that I'll be able to keep that up if I start doing more videos about home decor. So I'm trying to figure out how to balance that. And yeah, so we'll see if I can find an editor that works. I'm very nervous about getting an editor. If you don't know what I'm talking about, in my weekly email, I talked about one of the goals that I have now that we are getting a little bit bigger is to hire an editor that will just help me get down some of the footage, because sometimes I have 4 hours of footage to make into a 30-minute video, and it just takes so much time that I can't film more videos because I'm spending so much time editing between my 3 videos, and then when Mark has a video, but I'm really like, he's getting a video about once a month just when I can finally edit his. So I am looking into different platforms where you can have an editor that will help you just get some of the editing done. You can be very specific, that telling them like, please watch my videos. This is my vision for this video. I usually do a pretty good job of like telling a story through my video and it being about something and not just like, here's a random video. So I think that some of it could be handed off to an editor. How do people get picked to go on a mission, and did I go on one? So in our church, when you turn 18 as a young man or 19 as a young woman, you can choose to go on a mission. It is highly, highly encouraged to go serve a mission, especially for boys. girls are really encouraged to as well. But for boys, it's kind of expected when you're 18. And you submit paperwork, you make the decision, you submit paperwork after, and you do a bunch of just, you got to get all your health in order and things like that. And you submit your papers, and then it takes a couple weeks, and then they send you an email and they say, here's where you're going to go serve your mission anywhere around the world, and you're going to enter what's called the MTC, or the Missionary Training Center, on this day. And so you get dropped off. There are missionary training center in Provo, Utah, but there's also other ones around the world. Mark went to a missionary training center in Provo, and then he went to one in Madrid. He served a mission in Spain. Boys go for 2 years, girls go for 1.5 years. And then that's how you get picked. you submit saying that you want to. You don't have any say on where you're going to be. If people have health challenges, they do let them know, and there are special missions that they can go to where they can be in contact with a doctor, and it is an amazing thing. It is a very hard thing, but it is an amazing thing you just see young boys and young women grow up so much in a mission. It's often the first time they go out and are living on their own and having to deal with having a roommate. They have a companion at all times and stuff. I did not go on a mission. At the time when it was me, you had to be 21, and I got married when I was 21. So, how tall does a fence have to be to keep a moose out of the garden? We have it's like a 7-foot fence, and that's plenty. If it really wanted to get in, it probably could, but you need at least, I'd say 5 to 8 feet. Okay. Melissa, hello from Minnesota. Hello. Eric Vlogs. What is the cell phone service like in Alaska? Do you have to prepaid or ones you get a bill for? We have regular cell phone service. We have AT&T. The local one is called GCI. I use GCI. Mark uses AT&T through work. There's, I think T-Mobile and Verizon might even be up here now. You just pay, and it's okay, depending on where you are. It can be awesome, and sometimes you're like, wow, I get cell phone service here, this is amazing, and other times it's like you are in a dead zone. So I'm sure it's like that everywhere. Marcella, what YouTube channels do I follow? I am always watching YouTube as a student, like, ooh, I wonder why they're doing that, or I wonder, so I'll watch somebody for a couple days and then I move on. I don't have a ton of time to watch YouTube because I'm always doing so much editing and doing my own videos, so I don't have a lot of channels. But there is a military family leaving Virginia next week, moving to their cabin in Alaska. Oh, fun. I'll have to look them up. Their channel is Home Free Alaska. Good for them. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Sinead. Okay. Yes, thank you for those of you that are on here that are, in the middle of the night and things like that. Okay, one last question from Marley. If you have any other questions, put them in the chat here. But winter or snow preparations. Yes, lots of things to do before the snow comes. We got to get the garden done. You take out all your hoses and make sure your hose bibs are turned off. Some people even turn them off from inside. You don't want any water leaking out in the wintertime. Changing your snow tires over is really important. Unless you have all season tires, often people put on winter tires or studded tires. Getting the garage cleaned out. We don't park very often in the garage in the summertime, and then in wintertime, we want the car in the garage. So, what is Everett's favorite book? Everett has lots of favorite books. He doesn't care. Whatever book we're reading, Bennett has always been really good about getting books for Everett. We've been reading a lot of Berenstain Bears books right now. Here's a funny story about books. Everett does really love books. And there is this book called Sir Waffle, what is it? It was Lady Pancake and Sir French Toast. And it is this story, it's super cute, about this pancake and French toast that are really good friends, and they race through the refrigerator to try and get the last drop of maple syrup. And Bennett did a book report on it. I don't know why he did a book report on a picture book in 5th grade, but his teacher let him because it just had to be like a tall tale or a fairy tale. So that's why it was a picture book. Anyway, so he read the book, and then they just give him a list of like, here's 25 things you can do for your book report. Just pick one and make it into a book report. So Bennett and I were chatting like, okay, what should we do for your book report? And we decided to come up with a game. And so we made this refrigerator out of 2 pieces of poster board. You open the refrigerator, and then your players are this pancake and this French toast, and you race them through the refrigerator to see which one can get to the maple syrup. And if you can't tell, like, this is right up my alley. I love a good project. I love teaching, like games. Oh gosh. So I was like, we were making this and we were having so much fun. And in the book, they like slide down the spaghetti and fall in the yogurt and, go through the broccoli forest. So everything from the book we put in the refrigerator. Like, you got to go through the forest. Oh, you got stuck in the jam. You lose a turn. Like, it was kind of like Chutes and Ladders. Like, on the spaghetti, you get to, like, skip some stuff. So we make this, and it was just amazing. And Bennett drew the stuff, and then he watercolored it. And then I went back in with a black marker and made everything pop. And then in the book, there is, like, a twist at the end that Sir Waffle was hiding, and he beats them to the syrup. And so we made that part of our game. Every time, like every about 5th square, we made a waffle. And if you landed on the waffle moved down, and you had to try and beat this waffle down to the syrup. So I hope this makes sense. So we make this game. And Everett, this is coming back to Everett, loved the book. And he loved the game. I'm sure we spent 2 hours one day. Just hours. He would be like, okay, show me something on the game, and he would find it in the book. And then I would show him something in the book, and he'd find it in the game. And then he loved playing the game so much. He just like, can we play the game? Can we play the game? And then Bennett had to take it to school, so it disappeared. And Bennett took the book back to school because he needed to turn it in for his book report. But he loves this game. So he takes it back. The very next day, Everett brings it home from the library, even though we've had this book at our house for over a month, because he was like, I'm sure he saw it in the library and was like, I love that book, I love that game, and brought it back home. So he loves any book, but that was really, really fun to see how excited he was about it. And by the end of it, he could like tell you everything about that book. He thought that was so great. And that it got 100%. I feel like we were really proud of that grade. It just was really fun to do that together. So, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that. Somebody, CR asked, do you have problems with mice in your garage food storage? So we try and make sure that anything on the bottom is not something they could get into. Cross your fingers. We've never had anything gotten into. We have seen a mouse in there, but we were able to get it taken care of before it did anything. Thank you for watching. I'm trying to think. Ever think about an RV trip across Alaska? We don't have an RV. Maybe I could use Grandpa's. I think it would be really fun. We do want to do more traveling. Now that the boys are getting older, we just want to travel more. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate that. I would also like to take an RV trip across the U.S. I love road trips. It's funny. There's a disconnect for Mark and I. I grew up in Texas. We would drive up to Utah and visit my brother. We would drive to Winnipeg and visit Grandma and Grandpa. We would drive to Virginia and visit like our old family and friends that live there. We would drive to California and visit my aunt and uncle. So road trips are like, in my mind, are like the best. And then Mark flew everywhere with his family. Oh, we'll go fly on this adventure. We'll get a charter and fly. And so that's how his brain works, and my brain still works like, let's go on a road trip. So sometimes we have to kind of meet in the middle there. Does my husband do charter? Natalie, are you asking, does he does he charter and take people out. With our airplane, it's not insured to be able to fly people around, so he very, very, very rarely takes anybody but family in there, because if something were to happen, it's not insured for other people. You can rent one. That's true, Marcel. We could rent one. Maybe one of them will partner with us and let us take their RV on an adventure with us. I would love to just buy one and fix it up one day. Or maybe when my parents don't want both of theirs, we could hook up their smaller one to Gus the Bus and use it and buy it from them. We'll see. Okay. Do most families in Alaska stockpile food like us? I can't really speak for most families. I don't go and look in a lot of people's stuff, but there is really, Alaska is so far from things that if there were food shortages, if like boats can't come up and something happens to the road, like we would be in really, really big trouble. Especially in the wintertime when you can't grow some food. Like, it would be really bad. We would be sharing with people. We are blessed to be able to have a stockpile, but we use that food. We're constantly using the food that we have. My philosophy about Costco is that I'm buying a little bit for this week, a little bit for this month, and a little bit for like this year every time I go. So I'm trying to just keep that in mind. Sometimes when people think, oh man, that's a lot of food, you got to remember some of it's for now, some of it's for later. And I'm also feeding 4 growing boys that eat a lot. They eat a lot of good food. The snacks actually go a lot slower than a lot of things. We still have our mom box from the summer, and it's like half full. I just always forget that it's downstairs in the garage. I should probably pull it out and put some of the treats from in their lunches, because they're just sitting there. Patty asks, can you explain about the Alaska wildlife canceling snow crab season? Crabbing has been on the decline, unfortunately, for several years. And I think they're just really trying to make sure that it doesn't get depleted. I haven't looked a lot into this current cancellation, so I don't have a lot of information on that, but they've had a lot of trouble with the crabs the last couple of years, and it's really, really, really devastating to those people that live out in the Aleutians and in Western Alaska. It will be devastating to them, for sure. So it's really sad. So hopefully they can figure that out and figure out what's happening to those snow crabs. Okay. Such a huge fan. Just in Fairbanks. Didn't see the Northern Lights. Northern Lights are so tricky. I have seen them right here in my yard on a good day. People will chase them. You can get apps on your phone that tell you when the aurora are going to be out, so that can be really, really helpful. But there's just no guarantee. That's the hard thing. There's no guarantee. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can capture them at some point. But I don't even know if my camera is good enough to capture them. I'll have to do some figuring that out. I did order a new iPhone because my phone is dying a very slow death, and it has the new camera on it. So hopefully, I've heard that can actually capture the Northern Lights really well. So I'd love to be able to share that with you guys. I'm so sorry you came all the way up here and didn't see them. So, I'm so sorry, Jennifer, that you have a hard time hearing. Maybe try and log out and log back in. I tried to plug in multiple microphones, and my computer was rejecting all of them, which is really annoying because I have a very expensive editing computer. It should be able to handle microphones. Mary, how far north have I been? I've driven the Alcan, so we've been, as far and over to Whitehorse. I've been to Fairbanks before. Yeah, so. Bridget, you can come back and watch later. Sorry. I know these lives are hard to remember to jump on, and you can't go back. So until it's over. Where do we catch our halibut? We catch our halibut out of Homer. So that's in what's called Kachemak Bay. Halibut. Homer is the halibut capital of the world. They really restrict how many people on charter boats can catch. On a personal boat like ours, they have yearly like catch limits per day. I think it's like 2 per person was this last summer. So that's what we were allowed. And so Mark's parents, his mom and dad, own a boat, and they let us go out there with their boat and catch halibut. And I didn't realize how expensive halibut was until I went to the store last week, and it was like $24 a pound. Oh my goodness, it's like I have gold in my freezer, I realize. So got to make sure we eat it. We have some friends visiting from Arizona. She grew up here, and they came over for dinner on Monday, and I said, okay, do you want halibut or salmon? She said, halibut. I can get salmon at her grocery store in Arizona. So I made up a bunch of halibut, and they were just like, oh, this is so good. And so it was good. Okay. Any more questions? If you make noise, you can get the Northern Lights to dance. I think that's a wives' tale. Don't think that's real. How long is the tram in Girdwood? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long it is. I can look, but I'm not sure. It took like it's about a 15-minute or 10 minutes. Would I ever do a collab with Summers in Alaska? I don't think they even know who I am. We have never talked. But I am now connected with Violet Vlogs, so. Did I have a nice time meeting with Jessica? Oh my goodness. Yes. It's one of those things. We are friends on Instagram. You should be our friend on Instagram too, This Alaska Life. And we've been friends on there. So we comment back and forth to each other. And then eventually I was like, here's my phone number. Because I knew she was coming down and I wanted to like take her out to lunch. So it was just good to meet in real life. There's just certain things that unless you're like online, you don't realize what it's like to be online. And to have so many wonderful friends, but not to get to see your faces. That's one of the saddest things to me. I want to see your guys' faces more so that I like would know you if I passed you. So, yes, Vanessa, they did get a daughter through adoption. Awesome news. Marcella, what made me start my YouTube channel? Well, I went to a conference and I was telling I had a roommate and she was telling me about her life and I was like, oh, we are so much alike. And then she asked me about my life and I was like telling her, and then I realized we had a lot of things in common, but we had a lot of things that she was just like, her jaw was on the floor and she's like, you get your own food, you hunt, you process your own meat, like you go camping all summer. And I just realized, hey, I might have something to share because when my decorating business just crashed because of COVID, I just thought, well, we're going to keep going to the cabin. We're going to keep doing all this. We're going to keep processing moots so I can share that. That's what made me start. What's kept me going is this community. I'm just so grateful for all of you guys. Really, really am. Yes, Jessica Violet is Bert's sister. So, but they are both very, very busy families with lots of kids, and so their videos don't cross over very often. All right, thank you, Cheryl. I'm so grateful to have you here. I'm getting some texts. I'm just making sure none of the kids need me. Sometimes Hunter will text me while he's coming home on the bus. Okay, anybody else have any questions? I am done with my questions from the email. People emailed to me, but if you are not on our email list, I just put that back in the comments or in the chat, sorry. I would love to have you to be part of our email list because some things are coming up. If you didn't see, I will be talking about these in a email really soon. I did get some Luna stickers. They came a little bit smaller, but they're super cute. And then some This Alaska Life stickers. And these are really good quality. They're like for putting on like a water bottle. The boys have them on their water bottles that we wash regularly and they haven't come off. So I just love this little sticker of Luna. A little awkward to run into people who follow you. Here's the thing. I love when people say hello. I really do. What is awkward is if they are looking at me and they don't say anything and I'm like, do you know me? Do you watch me? That feels awkward. Also, I just wonder, are they looking at me funny because I have a camera in my hand? And then, but when people say, I watch you, I subscribe to your channel, it just like makes it real. It makes it real that there's people on the other side. And I've always just felt so blessed to get to talk to people. Mostly at Costco. That's where I get recognized the most. And when Jessica Violet was here, Violet Vlogs, she's like, you're the Costco queen. And that just makes me laugh because I feel like Costco is like the gateway into our channel. So many people find us from Costco. And then I really hope that they stick around because they love the family. That's like and they feel like they become part of the family. That's my goal. I love your earrings. Yes, these are my favorite. These are from my favorite Akimbo. She does have a website, AkimboCollections.com, I think it is. I think I have like 3 or 4 of her earrings because I just really love them. Do you see you or Mark or a combo in the boys? Okay, yes. Hunter is a mini me. He is me in boy form. He has my body type. Bennett is Mark, like perfect little Mark. And that's so funny. 1, 2, like perfect mom, perfect dad. But Hunter was like the cutest baby ever. So I guess maybe I was cute too. I don't know. They were all actually really cute. But I just remember looking back and thinking like, he is beautiful. But he was my first too. So then we have Weston, number 3. And he's like this perfect little combo of the two of us. He's got hair more like mine, thinner, finer, but he's got some of Mark's characteristics as well. And then Everett honestly looks a lot like Hunter when he was little. When we look back on things, we're like, that looks like Hunter. So I'm wondering, it'll be interesting to see as he grows up if he continues to look like Hunter. And it's funny because like Bennett has the same hair as Mark. Mark has very thick, coarse hair. And so Bennett has thick, coarse hair. And then Hunter has, you've seen, he's started this like swooped over side and his hair gets kind of long. And Bennett's kind of like, I want to do that, but his hair is just such a different texture. It doesn't work. So then he sometimes makes fun of Hunter. I shouldn't say that, but but I think he's just jealous that Hunter has this hair that can do that. So anyways, Emma, you asked if I have a calling at church. So in our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it is all volunteer based. Everybody is volunteers. Nobody gets paid to run things. The calling that I have right now is called the primary chorister. You may be a member of the church. Oh my goodness, Vanessa, thank you for that super chat. That was very sweet of you. I am primary chorister, which means for the second hour of church, I get to teach the kids 12 and under, actually 11 and under, singing primary songs, which are kids songs about Jesus Christ and about living good and happy lives, about praying, and so I am not very good musically. I will be the first to admit that. But I'm okay singing kids songs. I've sung them since I was a little kid. But I love, 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 love teaching. I love teaching kids. So I can make it really fun and I can sing loud because I don't care if kids judge me for my terrible singing. and we have a lot of fun. And kids, my number one goal is that I want kids to love being at church. So I get the kids for 25 minutes, this 5 to like 8-year-olds, and then I get 25 minutes with the 9 to 11-year-olds. So I do my lesson twice, and I change things around a little bit for the older kids. Okay, so it's probably one of my favorite callings I've ever had because I just love the kids so much. What's the best month to drive up from the lower 48? I would say anywhere from end of May to middle of September. Other than that, it starts to get too snowy, and it's very, very, very dangerous. Cheryl is in British Columbia. Have you and the family ever been to Canada before? My dad is from Winnipeg. My aunt and uncle live in Vancouver and Regina. So I have been as a girl and as an adult. I went to Toronto a few years ago for a conference. But other than driving through, I don't think the boys have ever been to Canada. We just haven't done a lot of traveling up and down. When we travel, we go to Arizona, Utah for family, or Hawaii. That's kind of like the extent of our traveling at this point. So one day we would love to travel more. Carol, yes, Bennett looks just like Mark. Yes, Kim found us from a Costco video and you've stuck around, so I really appreciate it. Kim Bradbury, you've been here for a long time. I just really appreciate it. Thank you, Christina. Costco, cleaning, organizing. Yep, it is fun to watch. So I have thought of doing more cleaning, organizing things, but I want to do a totally different style of video. So if I do those, they will be over on my Love Your Home with Lauren channel. Used to be called the Hamm Homestead, but I think I'm going to change it to call it Love Your Home with Lauren and Luna, because as I have been filming a few things that I've been cleaning lately, you better believe Luna is right there. So I think that would be fun. Love Your Home with Lauren and Luna. So thank you, Vera. Thank you. The editing is, I actually really enjoy the editing and creating a story and making sure it's seamless. I usually edit my videos 3 to 4 times. The first time I'm just cutting out big chunks of things that aren't important. The second time I go in and I add in any words and transitions. The third time I'm just watching if anything's really boring or if something doesn't make sense. And then sometimes I do it a 4th time just to make sure it's all lined up again. Will I be featuring any fall desserts? I'm not sure. I have been posting some desserts like my pumpkin cookies on Instagram, ThisAlaskaLife. I'm just having a hard time getting the camera out at dinner time and in the kitchen because it's just so busy. So what type of fruit trees are up here? Apple trees. If you have like a hothouse or like people have grown all sorts of things, but mostly just some apple trees. And some people can grow some like tart cherries. That's about all I've seen though, but I don't know that very well. Kim, I'm not calling you old. I'm grateful you've just been here for a long time from the beginning, which is only 2 years, so it's not that long. Oh, wow. Emma, you've got a lot of work at church to do. Okay. Carolyn, thank you. I love the history of Alaska videos that you do. I'd love to include more history as time goes on. Wondering if Hunter came in. He should be home. I think I heard him. Somebody asked, when did we get Luna? So during COVID pandemic, kids were home 2020. We were at my sister's house outside with the kids in like May, I want to say, March, no, like April. It was just getting nice out. We had to go into town for something, and we went to my sister's house, and we were just letting the kids ride their bikes out in the cul-de-sac. And all of a sudden, across the street, these girls came out and had all these kittens, and I was like, oh, they are so cute. And it wasn't really on our radar to get a cat, but I was like, tell me about these kittens. I'm so like interested. They're so cute. And so she told us, oh, we're fostering them till they can be adopted through this agency, and you have to just fill out some paperwork. And so a couple weeks later, Luna came home to live with us, and Weston was the one that just really, really, really wanted a cat, and it wasn't really on my radar. But then when I saw those cute kittens, we just kind of fell in love with Luna. And the lady was a little bit afraid to give us Luna because she's like, you have these 4 kids, and are they going to be good? But it was just so good. She's been such a blessing. She's one of the good things that came out of COVID. I'm trying to look for a picture because you guys, somebody asked if we got a moose. Yes. Hunter got his first moose. And the video will be coming out hopefully in the next couple of weeks on the Alaska Boys channel. And then I will show you guys all of the processing that we did. But I will show you, they got this beautiful 35-incher, like I don't know if you guys can see that, but the perfect little moose for Hunter's first moose. Well, it wasn't little, it was actually huge, but Mark sent me this picture and my mind was like, Hunter just looks like he's like 20 years old in that picture. I just felt like he grew up on that hunting trip. They had to go for 5 weeks before they got one. It was a lot of work, a lot of mom being home alone with the boys. I was explaining this earlier, but I don't really broadcast that when Mark's out of town. But now that it's over, I can talk about it. So yeah. Mary, what type of camera do you use when you do your videos? I can show you really quick. This was my first camera. This is a Canon M50. It's a mirrorless camera. It works really well when we do our cooking videos. This is what I'm using most of the time. But then, very quickly after we started our YouTube journey, and the boys wanted to film things and wanted to take it fishing with them, I started using GoPros from Costco. GoPros are really good at they have gyros in them so that if you're walking, it stabilizes. Whereas if you're walking around with this one, it's not very good. So if you have it on a tripod, this is excellent. If you're moving around, these are excellent. We actually have 3 of them to be able to separate with cameras. And then I don't have to worry if the boys use it. They can, thankfully they're very durable. They've been dropped. They go underwater without getting damaged. So that's what we use. Would we ever get a dog? It's not really I sometimes think I want one. I know they're a lot of work and a huge commitment, and we're just not at that point yet, but never say never. I have a friend that breeds the most gorgeous golden doodles, and so whenever I see her newest litters, I'm like, oh, my heart. Is it difficult to get medication up here? Medication, we have pharmacies just like everywhere else. The problem is if you do have major health issues, it is sometimes extremely hard to get into see a doctor, or that doctor may not be here, and a lot of people have to go to Seattle for those kind of things. I hear Hunter. Hunter! Very Hungry Caterpillar. Yes, we love that book. Oh, thank you, Susan. You love the drone footage. I have so much fun with the drone. I need to just kind of put little snippets in lots of different videos. Oh. Hunter is at the door. Well, that means that I'm going to have to say goodbye. I got to go get the door unless you guys want to wait. But I'll just go grab the door and let him in, and then he can come say hi too. Sorry about that. It's really hard for me to find the button of where to sign off the live, or I would have just not left you all hanging like that. Yes, I was a teacher before I had Hunter, and then I finished out the school year, and then after that, I did my crafting business. Come say hello. Hello. And then after my crafting business, I started at a home organizing and decorating business. I had 5 or 6 clients, and then the pandemic shut that down. And then now I just do YouTube full time. I could go back and be a substitute teacher, or I could be a real teacher, but I'm not ready for that level of commitment. But I honestly am having too much fun doing this and have too many ideas that I would have a hard time going back. Hunter, everyone's saying hi. All right. Anybody have any more questions? This has been wonderful. Thank you for being here. Have I ever read a book by Grace Livingston Hill? I don't know if I have. Oh, thank you. That would be amazing to have 100,000 subs. Hunter went to go get a snack. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat one more time. If you are not part of our weekly email, you might want to get on there because there will be some big announcements. I am going to try and go live again next weekend. I just realized the boys don't have school next Friday. So my schedule might be different, but I will make sure to put out the information of when. I'm going to do a couple lives this month. I have some big announcements to make. We are going to have a 20,000 subscriber celebration at the end of the month. I think it's on like the 28th or 29th. We're going to have like a party, do it live, do like some trivia and some giveaways. And if you want to come and celebrate with us, that would be awesome. It's not going to be a Q&A. It's going to be just more fun. And yeah. And then, so there should be a live next Friday or Saturday, and then again the next week. I just wanted to throw some lives in here because it's been way too long since I've jumped on and chatted with you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So grateful for all of you. And we'll see you again real soon for more of This Alaska Life.